Faith Jones channel, a place where listeners will get a balanced perspective of issues affecting the Black community. Here we do not mollycoddle, water down, or soften any blows. This is a stage where both genders are equally scrutinized. Here, there is balance. Hello, this is Faith Jones coming at you with another one of my videos. And today I want to discuss the relationship between Black men and Black women. Just focus on it just a little bit more because I feel that it is important to broach a few things that I don't feel get emphasized enough. And then I'm going to move on to other subjects because there's a lot going on in the news. Do Black women have attitudes? Yes, we do. Should we be abused or bashed because of these attitudes? No. Should we be killed? No. However, some of the attitude that we have is very justified. You see, years of being oppressed and left to lead a nation virtually without the help of our men, being discriminated against for being women and for being Black, and being hated and discriminated against not only by white supremacy, but also by our own people, our own Black people. Black women have been the mules of the world. You know, from being used as brood mares and sex slaves during slavery. I mean, I'm talking about to the point where the slave master was using us as rewards for the Black men that worked hard at the end of a long day and made their quota and some. We were used for that. We were mammies for the little white kids. We were master's sex toy that he could even pass around to his friends and colleagues. We endured a lot. And today, we are used as scapegoats for the failures of our men. Yes, today, black men, they do blame us for not only the things that they have control over, but we are blamed also for things that we don't have control over. Neither we nor they have control over. You know, Black men can control things such as their failure to be present in their children's lives. They can control that. And they can control whether or not they build a strong Black economic infrastructure for their community. And they can control their failure to protect their women and children from both crimes that we commit against each other and crimes others commit against us. These are things that Black men can control, but they blame us for. But they also blame us for things that neither of us can control, like systematic slavery. And I'm talking about the systematic slavery that happened way back during the time where we were really slaves and now that we are mental slaves. They blame us for that. And, you know, that's something that we don't have control over. They blame us for things like I don't know, their lack of employment. They blame us for job creation. They blame us for white supremacy, putting their foot on our head. These systems that were created with no help from us, that we had nothing to do with creating, we shouldn't be blaming each other for that. We should only be held accountable for things that we can control, both men and women. We can't control the wealth gap between ourselves and other races, but we can control how we build a bridge towards the wealth gap, towards closing the wealth gap. So now, with all that being said, if Black women seem to be bitter and indifferent, angry, it's not like, we don't have valid reasons. We have very valid reasons for feeling the way we feel. We've been dragged. We have been dragged for hundreds of years. We have had to be everything to everybody with hardly no room to think about ourselves. And that's probably the reason why we're so selfish today. But I'll get to that a little later on. But yeah, we've had to be everything to everybody. So I just want to paint the picture as to why we are the way we are. When we turn on the television and we see Black men with their arms draped around women that are not us, we see that and we view that as betrayal, and it takes something away from us. When we go online and we read comments from Black men talking about how much better these other women are, non-Black women, take something away from us. Or that they think that we're not pretty, we're not feminine. They call us manly, hard to deal with, combative. Take something away from us. And each time a little chip is taken away from us, especially after carrying our race this far, practically by ourselves. And I'm not saying that we carried them successfully. I'm just saying that we did. We had to do it. We were forced to do it, whether we liked it or not, and we did it. And when we see all these things, we feel betrayed, like we did it for nothing. So yes, you are going to see Black women become unhinged when she's dealing with the type of abuse that we have to deal with. And it's rightfully so. We're justified. Now, with that being said, this is why you see Black women out here attempting to self-medicate ourselves, whether it be by lashing back at all of the bashing that goes on social media, whether it be by abusing our children, abusing ourselves and others, people that we love, trying to fit in. We put bleach on our skin. We wear hair that look like European and Asians. There's a lot of us running around practicing promiscuity and calling it sexual freedom. We have low self esteem and we exhibit violent behavior, especially towards other Black women. We've been controlled as a group, as a subgroup within a group. We have been controlled to the max, so much to the point that now we ourselves have become controlling and narcissistic because that's all we know. We want to control our children, especially our boys. You know, our boys are a replacement for the men that are not in our lives. And we are selfish. We don't want them to go anywhere. We don't want them to love anybody else. We want them all to ourselves because we need that love and that attention ourselves. So we mollycoddle our boys selfishly so that they can adore us and we make them weak and we don't prepare them for manhood. We want to control our Black men because we feel that we are old. We're owed their undying love and loyalty. For all the sacrifices that we've made, they owe us. Somebody owes us. Somebody has to pay. Right? Right? Wrong. Ladies, we have been through hell. There is no denying that. No other woman on earth has gone through what Black women have gone through, both past and present, and survived. But we survived. We lived to tell the hell that we've been through, and we won't let anyone forget it either, because we've been through some hell. However, controlling does not empower us as a people. It does nothing but make us weaker, as a matter of fact. Ladies, we are getting comfortable in our role as being victims. And this is not going to heal us in the long run. We are slowly becoming the monsters that we hate by constantly using shaming tactics in order to get our way. This is also psychopathic, narcissistic behavior. And it does nothing but alienate the people that we love from us. We alienate our men and our children because we force them to pity us. And we force them to feel like they owe us something for our sacrifices. So we use it. We use the fact that we are their mothers and their queens, and that we were done so wrong and we continue to be done so wrong. So they must respect us, even in our wrongdoing. You know, Black women, we have routinely failed to hold up our end of the bargain. We make demands and then we bring nothing to the table in return, except our college degrees. and our big loud mouths and our attitudes. But in demanding that our men build and be loyal and all these other things that we want from them, we have failed to preserve Black female womanhood for our men. We have not taken any responsibility for our own wounds. We have not taught our daughters to respect and embrace the power of her own femininity. We have not taught her what it means to look, act, and think like a lady. We have not taught the value of being a wife because we are not wives ourselves before we become mothers. Most of the time, I'm not talking about the exceptions. 70% of us are not doing it. We don't teach them the value of motherhood and how important it is, the role of a mother. We don't teach them the value of a good man either, from a female perspective, because we are so busy telling our girls that they don't need a man, that they're strong with or without, they're strong, they don't need one. And we just kind of minimize the importance of male leadership in our communities because we pump ourselves up as being the saviors of our community. We focus all the praise on ourselves, but we don't focus any emphasis on men being leaders in our communities. And that's why you don't see them. We minimize the value of male leadership to our daughters. We don't prepare them to be good wives and mothers. And we don't tell our sons how important they are and how important their leadership, their future leadership is to our community. Our sons see us as being the breadwinners and the leaders, and we teach them to follow us. Yet we have these demands and we expect them to rise to the occasion after we have been beating them down. And this is now what male leadership looks like. Thanks in part, and I said in part, not in whole, thanks in part to what we did to contribute to it. You know, we've lost the art of womanhood. We've lost the value of knowing what it is to not just be educated, but also intelligent, strong but gentle, soft but stern, beautiful yet scary. You know, we could be all these things when we need to be, but we have lost the art of how to do it and when it needs to be done. We're not supportive to our men, not enough. As a matter of fact, I would even call it supportive. We're enablers. We enable our men to be weak rather than support them to be strong. We're not good listeners. So, how in the hell can we be good advisors? We got a nation full of women that want to give advice, but nobody wants to listen so that they can have good advice to give. How can you learn anything if you haven't listened? So we continue to pass bad advice from one generation to the next. We are no longer a symbol of motivation to our men. Let me repeat that. We are no longer a symbol of motivation to our men. Ladies, we are the quiet storm. And our men, they are the thunder and the lightning. Nobody's afraid of a quiet storm, but they tremble when they hear thunder and lightning because they know if they get struck by that thunder and lightning, there is going to be damage. You know, we've forgotten how to do all these things that women are supposed to do in order to motivate our men to step up to the plate for us. We forgot it. We forgot how important it is to have that laid out on the table and offer that in exchange for all the things that we want. We come to the table with a long list, but we don't have a list of things that we can offer. And I fear that if we don't put ourselves back on the path to mastering the art of our feminism and womanhood, we're going to lose everything. We're going to lose our men, our children, our identities. All of this is going to be gone forever. Somebody has to take the first step. Now, do we have black men out here acting a goddamn fool? We sure in the hell do. We got one guy running around here shooting people and posting it on Facebook. We got another guy that just shot his wife or ex-wife in California. They were estranged or getting divorced. I don't know what the deal was, but we got some damn fools, some black men that have been acting damned the damn fools out here. We got them on social media bashing black women left and right. A damn fool just made the comment not too long ago that dark skinned women were not attractive. But should we stop doing our jobs as women because some of our men are damn fools and they've lost the art of being men? No. Just because some of them have abandoned their jobs doesn't mean that we can afford to abandon ours. Ladies, when you scream and yell and cuss, when you're out here fighting in the middle of the street having ghetto brawls, when you neglect and abuse your children, you're out here abusing drugs and alcohol, having multiple babies out of wedlock with multiple men, when you're out here behaving promiscuously and dressing promiscuous, you carry around a stank attitude wherever you go out of your way to be uncooperative, argumentative, deflective, combative, and you don't hold yourself accountable for anything that you've done wrong. You don't hold yourself accountable for your own bad behavior. Ladies, when you do these things, you supply these males with unnecessary ammunition to use against you. You do that. Now imagine if there were no statistics out here that black males could use to support their claims that you are promiscuous and irresponsible. But there are. 70% of us are single mothers. How can you explain it or deny it? We did that. We did that to ourselves. Ammunition. Imagine if there were no twerk videos for these people, not just black men, but all of them. The black women are on everybody's hit list, but we put that ammunition out there. Imagine if that wasn't there for them to use against us, saying how silly we look. Now, some of them have even capitalized off of it, but they're there. Too many to count. And we even have videos of us teaching our babies, boys and girls, how to twerk. And even before, because I know somebody's going to come in here and try to justify this bullshit, but even before we found out that it was a tribal mating call dance, we were doing it to get attention, male attention. And we thought it was cute, and we thought it was funny, and some of us thought it was sexy. Imagine if there were no ghetto brawl videos featuring black women. But there are too many to count, which is why you have black males out here like Tommy Sotomayor staying in business because we keep giving him ammo to post in his video blogs. We supply the bullets and they use them to shoot us down because we give them the ammo. Yet we complain about them using the ammo that we supply. Ladies, it should be like searching for a needle in a haystack for them to find all this damning evidence some of these male psychos like to use against us. But unfortunately, we make it too easy for them to do it, for them to bash us. I'm not saying that they're justified. I'm just saying that it's too easy because we make it that way. And so therefore, that's where we have to take accountability. And we don't want to accept it. We don't want to accept accountability for this. Why it's so easy for them to say these things about us. Now, with that said, I know that we have the most education. We won't let anybody forget it. But with all of our being educated, we still have not figured out how to control our own anger. We want to control everything and everybody but ourselves. Yes, we do have valid complaints. These things, the abuse, all of it is happening to us. I'm not minimizing it at all, and I'm not condoning it either. But we refuse to acknowledge that our black men also have valid complaints too. And this is what I take issue with. We keep saying that they are the problem, and we refuse to look at ourselves. Did it ever dawn on some of you that we are part of their problem? That we have in some way contributed to some of the issues that they have? Do we even want to look at that? Do we even listen to them when they try to tell us what's wrong? You know, here's some valid points that our men have tried over and over again to communicate to us. and we basically ignored them. First, complaint number one, they say we make our boys weak. And I tend to agree with them on this. We have made our boys weak. We do not, how can I say, we do not emphasize Black male leadership to our sons the way we emphasize Black female leadership to our daughters. We don't do it. Not enough, not to the extent that we empower our girls. We make our sons weak because we minimize male leadership in our communities. And we do it a lot of times without even realizing it. Which brings me to number two. They say that we don't teach our girls how to be ladies and future wives. Well, how can we teach our girls how to be ladies when we are too busy emasculating the men? So now our girls are learning to be both. They have both traits that they're coming up with. And our boys are just confused and scared because they don't know what they're supposed to do. The women do everything. They tell us that we don't hold ourselves accountable for our wombs, for our sexual reproductive organs. And I must say, they have a point. Yes, I believe that it takes two. However, they have a point about us having more options. We do have more options, not negating their responsibility, but as women, and as a woman talking to other women, we need to be more responsible for our own wombs because we sit up here and we complain about having to hold down the entire race by ourselves because we're often left alone to raise our children after we have recklessly allowed ourselves to get pregnant. We complain about this, but we do not do anything to keep it from happening to us. We don't look out for our own best interest. Our men tell us that we use our children as collateral and a tool for control. And I've seen this. I've seen women that really didn't need the money, but they use the child. They use an excuse. They say the child needs something to get extra money on top of money they've already gotten. Or they get angry because they went out and they had this baby and they thought they were in love and they thought the baby was going to bring them even closer. And what it did was drive a wedge instead. So now the baby is a tool to punish him with because there are some men that out here that genuinely love their children. And then you have a woman that sees that and she's angry because he loves the child and not her. So, oh, now you can't see the child anytime she's mad. And I've seen this myself. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it doesn't happen because it does too many times. We do like to control that psychopathic narcissistic behavior that I'm talking about. And yes, they have a point. We do this. Not everyone, but I see it a lot in mass. That passive aggressive bullshit that we pull. And we try to sit up and act innocent like we don't do it. They say we don't listen and we don't take criticism. And it's an understatement for me to say I totally understand where they come from. We already know everything, and we think that we're right, and it's more important for us to be right than it is for us to listen and come to a mutual resolution. We don't allow our men to be men. Once again, it goes back to control. Now, when it comes time for us to, we want somebody to get their butts handed to them. We want them to go kick ass for us. We want them to be men then. We want them to be men in the bedroom. But outside of that, we want to run everything else. We want to control money. We want to control the kids. We want to control them. We want to control what they like, what they don't like. We want to control everything outside of that. And they accuse us of not picking good men to be husbands and fathers. This really takes me back because see, I'm in my 40s, my early 40s. But I remember back in the 90s when rap music had just taken off and everybody was wanting to be NWA. And I remember when all the girls wanted to be with a guy that could rap or he dressed like a rapper. She wanted that guy that had that thug image and he was out there selling drugs and he had the nicest car and the most money and he could buy her things and take her places. I remember that. Even if a lot of you females want to forget or get selective amnesia, I remember that. I remember growing up. And I myself thought of I'm just gonna be honest. Oh, a guy comes rolling up in a nice car, dressed nice, smell good, got money. Yeah, you looked up. I looked up to that. And I know a lot of other females that did too. Just like there are the guys that looked up to the video vixens, the girls that bodies resembled those females in all the Luke videos with the bouncing behinds that you could see for 3, 4 blocks away. Let's not forget that either, fellas, because you were out chasing the hoes. So we were back in the 90s, we were living that pimp hoe mentality. And everybody wanted to be a player. Remember the term when the term player first came out? Everybody wanted to be a player and a playette. And nobody was teaching about marriage. Nobody was talking about womanhood. Nobody was talking about manhood. Nobody was talking about that. So now, fast forward 3 decades later, we're trying to figure out what the hell happened. And both of us are to blame for that because I remember I was alive and kicking. I'm still alive and kicking, but I remember back in that time when it happened, and nobody was trying to hear about being good men and women and all of that. Everybody, and I'm talking about even the nerds, the guys that were nerds wanted to be like those thugs and rappers, and they were also dreaming about the girls with the Luke bodies walking down the street with the bouncing behinds. So let's not all pretend like none of this was going on. I remember. And so we lost the art of teaching womanhood and manhood in our community. we got sidetracked. And all I'm saying is we need to redirect the focus and take back our communities. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of more items to add to this list, but these are valid complaints, ladies, that we routinely ignore or deflect from when Black men bring them up in conversation. These are issues that we can control if we really wanted to. But it's a lot easier for us to ask our men to change and adapt for us. But we don't want to we don't want to adapt for them. We want to come to the table with a long list of demands. And then when it comes time for us to say what we got to offer, we just throw our education up there on the table and our vagina. And that's it. And then we have a long list of baggage that we bring with us after making our demands. Ladies, if we want our men to change, we have to give them motivation. We have to show them what they have to look forward to in exchange for our demands. We're demanding that they build, they provide, they protect, they remain loyal to us. And right now, they're looking at us and we're not looking that great as a group. I'm not talking about as individuals, I'm talking about as a group. We're not looking that great. And this is why they believe other races of women are better. I'm just going to be honest. This is why you hear them saying stuff like that. Much as a lot of us don't want to hear it, and it's going to rub some of us the worst way. I know y'all can't wait to get in the chat room and cuss me out. But yeah, that's why they say it. You know, other races of women, they do their dirt too. I'm not saying that they're immune, but they don't give as much ammo as we give to use against them. You'd really have to search really hard to find the ammo. But Black women, we provide so much ammo to our men and for other people. They have storage houses that overflow with the ammo that we give. So much so that there's no room to stack it all. So you know what happens when you run out of room for storage, right? It has to go somewhere. So this is why our men have poured it on out to social media because we give them so much to use against us. They shoot it out on social media to get rid of it. And a lot of us have gotten hit by some of those bullets. And then we go to holler. But anyway, that's my take on the whole situation. And I'm going to get ready, put on my galoshes and my oversized raincoat and my rain hat because I know it's about to be a shitstorm. But it has to be said. Well, this is Faith Jones concluding this video. Please like, share, and definitely subscribe. Have a good one.